Avatar: The Way of Water is rated PG-13 for sequences of strong violence, intense action, partial nudity, and some strong language. Avatar going crazy. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about Avatar. Jake Sully lives with his newfound family formed on the extrasolar moon Pandora. Once a familiar threat returns to finish what was previously started, Jake must work with Neytiri and the army of Navy race to protect their home. Okay, so I normally start with the story, but for this, the first thing I'm going to talk about is two things: the original Avatar and the 3D/theaters. So the original Avatar, I think, is a pretty good movie. Now, when I first watched it, I don't completely remember it, but the only thing I do remember is being, not the only thing, but the most important thing I remember is being completely blown away. And I'm like 100% sure that was the visuals. The visuals in the original, I'd never seen anything like it, and most people hadn't seen anything like it. It was just mind-blowing. Visuals are quality, but in terms of actually thematically and talking about things that critics like, it wasn't mind-blowing, but I still think it was a really good movie. The second point I want to make is that 3D, it was incredible. You have to see this movie in 3D, and the 3D was incredible. You have to see this movie in a theater. But I don't know about 3D, but you have to see this movie in the theater. If you don't, you're going to be missing out on a lot of stuff, because the experience I had in the theater was unreal. Everything about it, it was just the 3D. Like, if 3D hurts your eyes, this is completely fine. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be awesome. So if you want to see this movie, you have to see it in at least a theater or a projector that's pretty much as good as a theater, because if you don't, you're going to be missing out on the actual experience of watching the movie. The story of this movie is simple, but it's still effective. It's not completely fleshed out, but it's still a really good story. So basically, everything to do with actually making it good technically is better. It's much better than the original one. The villains in this movie, they're sort of cliche. They're not completely menacing or anything like that. It's just not crazy good. It's not like Darth Vader, Emperor, or anything. The villains don't stand out, but the main group of characters, the journey they go on, the story, it's great. And the main group of characters who you follow through this and you over time bond with them, it's just great. The performances are mostly great, but there are a couple of performances. Now, Zoe Saldana is just the only little, I guess I can say gripe with the movie, or little nitpick I have with the acting. It's, there's a scene where, I'm not going to spoil it, but a big thing happens and she starts doing something that was annoying and not very, I don't know how to explain this. She does something that reacts to something happening, and it's just annoying. It's not fun to watch. It was just annoying, and I was sort of cringing at it. It just wasn't, great. It wasn't great. That's the only nitpick I have with the acting. Otherwise, Jake Sully is incredible. All of the kids in this movie are they have a big part to play, and I would say they, for the most part, paid off. They had a pretty big role, and most of them, I guess, for the most part, they were all great in the movie. The next category is the direction. The direction was by James Cameron. He's been doing these things for over a long time. So he knows how to craft interesting sequences and things that, he's really good at. He did so much in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. The original Terminator, he's great. And in the original Avatar, he was great at directing too. This is no different. I would say this is even stronger than the original Avatar in terms of, from a direction standpoint. The pacing of this movie is actually very, very solid. It's something that doesn't stand out the most, because I would say the second act of this movie is mind-blowingly good. I can watch the second act any day of the week and I would be completely locked in and it would be amazing, because the second act, anytime they're underwater, the second act's the main time where they start to go underwater. Wow, my mind was just blown. I'm not going to get into the visuals because that's the next category, but wow, the second act, it was just mind-blowing. Anytime they were learning the way of water, the whole water thing, incredible. The first act and third act aren't as strong. The third act goes into like machine gun battles, and it's not as, it's not as strong. But the first act is great opening. It starts off with a bang, and it immediately sucks you into the world of Pandora, and that's a very good thing. Oh gosh, the next category, visuals. The visuals, well, it's some of the best you'll ever see in your life. I mean, that's why this movie is getting all the praise that's getting. It's the visuals. I've never seen anything like it. I said that for the original Avatar when it came out, and then this one just, it knocked my socks off. It was literally some of the best visuals, not just in movies and in movies, TV shows. It can compete with Rings of Power, and it can compete with anything. The visuals were just gorgeous. They were incredible, and I would watch this movie again just for the visuals. Even though there are other great things in the movie, the visuals are just 10 out of 10, bro. Like, it's incredible. I can't really go in depth about the visuals. I mean, there's not much you can really say about visuals. Well, I guess saying the word too much. Yeah, the V word, it's incredible in the movie. Like, every time they're underwater, the visuals there are just fantastic. There's a scene where they have to hook their hair up to this thing, and the colors there, mind-blowingly good. Just executed fantastically. It was incredible. The score of this movie is really, really underrated. The score is awesome. The score is fantastic. I had the tune in my head after the movie. I was humming the score because the final scene has one of the best scores ever. So does this movie. I don't think it's one of the best scores of all time, but if you had to compare it with like some other things, but there's a B. But, the score, it was absolutely incredible. This movie resonated with me a lot. I kept on thinking about it for a long time after the movie, and I just kept on, having images of the movie. I had one dream that I was in Pandora, because I want to go to Pandora, because this world, it is just so incredible and so exciting. It's just absolutely incredible how it sucks you into this world, and it's truly mind-blowing how good some of these sequences are that just stuck in my head for a long time. Very long time. Entertainment or emotion. This is where it gets really good. Oh my gosh. So basically, the entertainment, there's a lot of entertainment in this movie. Now, the only gripe I have with this is the third act. It's not as entertaining. They try to make the third act super entertaining, but unfortunately, it just doesn't pay off as much as it wants to. My main problem with it is that there's just too much machine gun fighting. There's too much and there's certain plot points that just get repeated over and over, and certain things that they just don't try to do anything different. They just sort of do what normal movies like this do. So the third act, it had some fun moments. It just wasn't as good as the rest of the movie, and unfortunately it took up a bit of a large portion of this movie, but it was still entertaining at some parts. There was like so much entertainment in the first two acts, and again part of the third act, but I can't stop talking about the second act of this movie. It was just like an experience I've never had in my entire life. So yeah, this movie is really entertaining, and there was a lot of emotion in this movie. Especially towards the end, there were some major things that happened that just got you. They got you really emotional in the movie. Before I give you my score, comment below if you prefer this movie or the original, or what's your favorite James Cameron movie. And if you could actually rank all of them, but you don't have to. And if the comments are turned off, I promise I don't do anything. I'm completely innocent when it comes to the comments being off. Like, I don't know why, but YouTube just disables the comments, and then I enable it, and it doesn't work. It says that the comments are enabled, and then it's not. Avatar: The Way of Water is an experience unlike anything else. The movie starts out with a bang and delivers some incredibly entertaining sequences. One or two performances aren't perfect, and on a story level it's not mind-blowing, but all of it is made up with what might be the best visual effects you will ever see in your life. I'm going an 88% with my score. I loved this movie, and I thought it was fantastic. Easily a better movie than the original one.